Deixa eu tirar isso aqui. Essa mudança seria melhor que Deixe em 3. Isso foi na última temporada. Eu vou deixar o link também, peraí. Eu vou postar o link aqui no chat. Pra quem quiser ver depois. Vou deixar aqui na descrição do vídeo também. Esse aqui, ó. Esse aqui e é do Neph. @Neph. Deixa eu ver se eu consigo. @Neph. E YouTube. Escrever, cara aí. Não dá. Bom, eu vou deixar aqui na descrição. O vídeo vai ser gravado. Vamos lá.
Can get quick access to activities in Destiny 2.
Ó.
Imagine we can get quick access to activities in Destiny 2. Less screens, less time finding things, less hassle. Imagine we could swap guns from our vault from the main menu. Maybe quick swap.
A gente já consegue fazer isso, né? A gente consegue acessar o cofre.
What if we could find all the dungeons and raids from the same page and not have to scour planets? Trying to remember.
Seria nice. Tipo, encontrar raids e masmorras tipo, na mesma aba, em vez de tipo, ir de planeta em planeta.
Which one a single dungeon was in? Would you enjoy it if we had a countdown timer to servers going offline and there was a notification to new twids being dropped? All of this on one page. Wouldn't it be amazing for new and long-time players who would want to see the full scope of things to do in-game? I'm Neph, and I'm going to design this page, put it together, and see how it works as a solution to what we have in-game now. Also, wait till the end as I visualize a new feature that would revolutionize active lore in-game that I think you'll love. Just to let you know for context, I'm a user interface designer by career, and my experience is in pathfinding for users and making learning experiences clearer and more easy.
Basicamente ele sabe o que tá falando. É isso que ele quer dizer.
Designers that have sculpted this game are amazing. What I offer is another perspective from a long-time Destiny player and an experienced designer. But let's continue. My answer to the issues I posed in the intro of this video is to create something that Destiny 2 does not have right now. A home section. A quick click page for new lights and veterans to dive straight into content and make those changes that should be easy.
Onde eu posso ir, tipo, ir de patrulhas. O que há pra jogar, vanguarda, assaltos, né? Crisol, raids, masmorras. O que fazer. E onde está a minha... Esse aqui é o NFG. Aí tem o personagem, trocar de loadout e customizar o personagem.
Easier to do in-game while decreasing the dependency on the app for swapping guns and finding out about changes in-game. As it stands today, there's so many single screens and menus in the Destiny 2 game. From login, it takes about 35 seconds for me to get to the destination screen, and that's with a good...
São 35 segundos pra você abrir o Destiny e do Destiny até, tipo, onde você quer. 35 segundos. Se eu não me engano, são 11 telas. Eu vi, tipo, esse vídeo aqui no Reddit e o cara tá falando que eram 11 telas.
Internet connection. And on average, you will need to get through 11 unique screens before you can even attempt to start into any active game content. This is a significant barrier to entry that all Destiny players go through every time they log in to play either a quick game of Control or a raid deep in the heart of Savathun's own world. Would making the game faster to load solve these issues? No. Making the game engine better and improving loading times is a tricky one, since, for the most part, this can be dependent on your internet connection, gaming system...
Isso aí sempre foi falado, né, velho? Tipo de, faz com que a engine coloque a gente no jogo mais rápido, faz com que, sei lá, velho, otimiza o jogo. Mas isso é muito dependente do teu PC e essas coisas, né? Acho que a gente deveria dar uma atualizada no HUD do jogo. No HUD. Tipo, o radar? Ou tipo, em geral. Estou esperando isso sair no armeiro. Qual mod devo pegar? Assim, qual mod?
And how well the elements are optimized by the game developer. So, let's focus on an easier solution of adding a page that pulls together content and character options at the start of the gaming experience. Destiny does not have a homepage, main screen or quick options screen right now.
Eu não concordo. Tipo assim, eu acho que o Dash tem sim uma tela principal, que é aquela dos planetas. Eu acho essa legal, mas poderia ser melhor.
And there was a
Não
homepage
concordo
in the
tanto.
game. Where do you think it would be? I think for most of us, it's where we sit to decide what we want to do and what activity we'd like to play today. The destination screen. This is the unacknowledged and underappreciated home for activities. And this, for me, is the layout I want to use to develop a quick touch homepage
Talvez, Peri.
for diving into content
Seria
and
legal
offering
também.
access to options and features that should be easy to use and find. In-game, there are two distinct page layouts that currently dominate. The destination setup screens and the character setup screens, which have different menus, layouts, and patterns at play. They don't have much of a relationship with each other and look and feel differently. The very first thing I would do is to replace the initial screen that asks you to decide if you want to view your journey or go to the director. Change this screen to the new home, and it is here you want to get to as soon as possible and choose what you want to
Eu acho que esse negócio de jornadas aqui, acho que é, tipo assim, não é das melhores coisas mesmo. Tipo, se fosse só a diretoria, acho que seria legal. Ou o personagem.
in the game.
Acho que o view de, tipo, viver quests não era...
Mobile app, which not every player knows about, is
Tipo, acho que
your
nunca
best
cliquei lá.
friend, since the in-game vault is a black hole and finding anything in there can be a bit of a hassle. You also cannot access your vault from the main menu system. Bounties, vault, transferring weapons between characters, and even finding out about game downtimes are all centralized in here. So why not pull some, but not all, of the more priority features from the game and into this new homepage?
Bom, agora você consegue acessar o cofre, né? Então isso é legal.
Current
Acho que quando ele fez esse vídeo não tinha essa
Hold the
novidade.
main menu. Ritual activities and all the planets and zones you can go to for content.
Legal, Tenor.
Raids and dungeons are buried deep within these areas, and if you wanted to go play Grasp of
Bom dia, bom dia.
Avarice, for example, you need to know that this dungeon is in the top left-hand corner of the Cosmodrome.
Isso é
There
verdade.
is nothing telling you where this is in-game, and if you are new to the game, there are zero indications or information points telling you where these activities are buried. As a seasoned veteran, you might have no issue finding where content is located as you have played all of these for years, but as new eyes to the
Jogo novo,
game,
jogador novo.
you will need to go to an external website to even know what planet these kinds of contents are
Isso é
positioned
verdade,
on.
verdade.
There is also a small
Não
sub-menu for
peguei ainda não.
inviting friends and dismissing the screen in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. My goals for setting up the homepage. Establish this repurposed page as our decision-making page. Cluster as much information as possible. Add features I think would be useful as a player to have more readily access to. Let's start by stripping away everything from the destinations page except for the Earth and the beautiful backgrounds that the Destiny team are so good at making. Build the main menu as reference points that you might need to drop into for context or pull equipment from rather than heading to the tower or helm. So the main menu would be Home, Store, Vault, and a lore
sacanagem, né? O cara coloca a loja da Eververse em segundo, velho. Aqui tem que ser em último.
The lore archive is an option I feel should be there since the wealth of lore is amazing and absolutely underserved in Destiny, and it really deserves
Eu acho que eu nunca li esses arquivos aqui da lore, mas eu sei que são muito interessantes pra quem
to be more
gosta, né?
prominent and have better visibility, since right now the limited lore entries are heavily buried in the collections page. Front and center of the homepage should be the tower, and the new destination of the Pale Heart, which I assume will be the key area in the final shape, and for the most of 2024, especially post the final DLC and the wrapping up the Light and Dark saga, when Bungie introduces the episodic system replacing our current seasons. Since the Pale Heart will be a new open area for us to travel to and explore, this deserves a center place. What happens beyond the final shape I don't know, and maybe this space can be changed up depending on where we go, but for now, these two spaces are prime. The left-hand side is now dedicated to understanding the scope of options available to both veteran and new lights want to do, rather than solely explore the planets and roam around the locations of the game content, into what you, rather than just labeling sections with a descriptor, I've chosen to title them with what would the player be thinking when deciding what they want to do when opening up the screen. So labels are all action oriented. Where can I go? This will function as an explore option, especially for players who don't want to do formal activities and just enjoy the vistas and beauties of the landscapes and planets.
Você clica ali e vai, né, tipo, ver todas as patrulhas
What's to
disponíveis.
play pulls all the formal ritual activities together, like Vanguard Ops and Crucible. I've deliberately omitted Gambit. Even though I enjoy it, if Bungie is not actively developing the mode, I think it eventually will get relegated to the great content vaults in the sky.
Ah, o cara meteu essa parte
Or
também,
will
velho.
be given something else to do. Raids and dungeons will now also have an area where the player will be able to see the full variety of team activities they can jump into.
Mano, qual será a porcentagem de jogador novo que não sabe que tem, tipo, raid em quase todo o planeta? Deve ser grande, né, velho? Tipo, o cara deve entrar no planeta ali, não deve encontrar a raid e fala, esse aqui não tem. Próximo. Mas deve ser muito grande a porcentagem.
Rather than have to find out where they are and go to them on maps. What to do will be an important option that will contain the featured quests and missions that we'll be working on as part of this new episodic format of The Final Shape. In Season 23, we will finally be introduced to Bungie's new Fireteam Finder system. While there has been some information about this, I wanted to bundle this option with the Friends Online and Invite Friends option. Right now, the character screen is completely separate from the Destinations tab in the game, and I wanted to introduce elements of character options into the new home screen setup so the player get a feeling that this page behaves as a quick touch system.
Cara, não sei se eu gostei. Vocês gostaram dessa parte, velho? Não me parece Deixe, velho. Sabe? É que, tipo, nunca foi tão trocado o Deixe, né? Sabe? A página principal. Eu não sei se eu gostei. Tipo, faz sentido, mas eu não sei se eu, tipo, faria parte do Deixe, sabe? Atividade, tipo assim. É muito jogo de celular esse aqui, velho.
Where you can now drop straight into character customizations.
Ficou pesada?
There are three
Always.
options that I've included into this section of the screen. And first is a function that is deep in the settings of the game and probably deliberately designed to not be that accessible, the character swap option. This might not be as useful for new players, but being able to quickly swap between characters, especially when you're going into endgame content, and everyone is loaded into Crota's end,
Sem ser nenhuma. É mais isso, é mesmo.
and you need a warlock as part of the team setup, can be super helpful. The next quick click is the change loadout option. This kind of speaks for itself. And drops straight into loadout screen for weapons and armor. Lastly is the quick character options in the customized drip option. And maybe not as important as key options go, I think drip is a key component of the game and players love to be able to change up and stylize the character's drip at the drop of a hat. Right now the drip screen is under the main character customization screen. I think it also deserves a little more love. A new feature I've added to the home section of the screen is the Destiny Timely Information section. This section will change depending on what is going on within the game and give information like a countdown timer to when the servers go offline, so players are not surprised by timely downtime that they didn't see coming. This section can also give information updates on when a new twid drops or...
Isso aqui já existe no jogo, velho. Quando você tem os seus personagens, embaixo tem um botão, velho, pra ver os tweets e as novidades de patch notes, essas coisas.
There are important updates and
É tipo escondidaço, mas existe.
The player might need to know about that are located on the
Mas esse de ter um timer de servidores é gigante, big.
notification system that most apps have, but pared down and would not always be available, but would be on screen around these timed events in game. Small changes I've made are giving the journey section another button option on the console and whatever the corresponding option is on PC. I play on console, so you'd have to excuse that. Another quality of life update I'd like to make would be adding an active lore.
Tirou a principal coisa do lobby, os planetas. Podia só agrupar raid e masmorra em um lugar, como a vanguarda e tal.
Screen to interactions with characters. Once again, connected section.
Mas ele fala daqui da
Once again,
cara,
didn't see coming. This section console, so you'd have to excuse that.
o que vocês preferem? O atual ou esse aqui? Envie tua mensagem. Quem sabe um dia. Hoje não. Atual só com mudanças de agrupamento. Eu não gostei que tá muito. Não Deixe, né? Muito. Parece Warframe, velho. Tipo assim. Se fosse. Os planetas todos. Aí tinha uma parte ali. Onde tinha todas as raids. Porque não tem problema ali com o Gambit. Crisol e Vanguarda aqui em cima. Eu nunca tive problema com essa parte ali. Na verdade eu gostava. Tipo, é separado, você sabe onde tá indo. Aqui, cara, vai que o cara vai. Imagina, sei lá, o cara é novo. Assalto. Pô, aqui é assalto. Vamos ver. É PV, beleza. Crisol. Pô, Crisol. Ou Crisol. Ok, beleza. É PVP. Aí o cara vai pro Gambit, velho. O cara não sabe se é PV, se é PVP. O cara vê Guardião, vê. Não sei. Acho que tá muito. Muito celular, velho. Não gostei tanto, não. Mas, mesmo assim. É uma boa ideia. Tipo, dá pra tirar ideias daqui. Tipo, agrupar algumas coisas. Mas acho que eu prefiro bem mais o atual. Mas dá pra tirar ideias aqui. Principalmente o negócio do servidor, velho. Tipo, mostrar o servidor. Eu gostaria de ver isso aí no jogo. Porque tem muita cara que, tipo, quando você tá em live terça-feira e o servidor cai, tipo, fica off durante umas horas. Caiu aqui pra mim? Caiu só pra mim? Mas eu prefiro o atual. Mas tá aí. Agora, vou colocar o vídeo de novo no chat. Quem quiser ver. Deixa eu ver. É um bom vídeo. Não concordo tanto, mas é um bom vídeo. Tá aí no chat pra quem quiser ver.